corrections or questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Unfinished business. Ryan, you're going to talk about the Regner Beach operations.
Yes, on page 7 of the packet, that is where my report begins. Along the way, if there's questions, please interrupt me, and we'll just take them as they come. So, moving into the report, obviously this year the Westbury Bank Aqua Park opened at Regner Beach. It was the most significant change in the pond's history since 2012, which is when I believe that the splash pad opened. As a reminder, this year general swim was $4 per person, which was the entire east half of the pond, and then a 2-hour session for the aqua park was $6 to $8, depending on the group size at the time of the reservation. Moving into staffing, after the 2024 season, it was determined that fewer lifeguard staff members would be beneficial for 2025. The staffing numbers for 2025 were as follow: 3 supervisor lifeguards, which was down from 4, 26 lifeguards, which was down from 31, and 13 beach house attendants, which was up from 10 in 2024. Desired staff levels for 2026, pretty similar to 2025. Again, thinking we'll go with 3 supervisor lifeguards, a couple more lifeguards, hoping to get about 28, and then a couple more beach house attendants, aiming for 15 or so next year. In 2025, the majority of my staff that were lifeguards were 2nd or 3rd year lifeguards. Obviously, the circle of life, they get older and they're mostly going to be moving on to other career-related opportunities. So just foreshadowing to 2026, I am expecting a large portion of the lifeguards to be 1st year. So already planning some lifeguard training dates to fill those vacancies.
Are you having trouble getting people to sign up for as new lifeguards?
We didn't even have to post a job opening last year. So I'm thinking 20, give or take, this year will need to be filled. So I'm hoping to get 10 in November for the training session I provide then, and then early part of 2026, the other 10. So I don't foresee any issues, but I guess I don't know what the future holds.
Sure,
but
sure.
I think they should be
Awesome.
pretty easy to fill.
Awesome. Okay.
Hours of operation, so daily aim to be open from 11 a.m. until 7 p.m. Our first day was Friday, June 6th, and the season ended August 17th. We were open to some extent on 66 of the 73 dates this summer. On the 7 dates that we weren't open were due to low temperature, rain, and then there was 2 days of flood recovery. The Monday after the flooding, if you saw the beach, it was in horrible shape, and then we were open by Tuesday, so pretty remarkable turnaround there to get it open. This summer, the beach was open for a total of 494.5 hours. This equated to being open just under 7.5 hours per day for those 66 days that we were open. Those 3 statistics all increased in comparison to 2024, which had 64 operational days, 439.75 hours of operation, and we were open on average 6.87 hours on those days. So definitely some improvements there, which is good to see. Water quality, as we've always done, weekly water samples were submitted to the Village of Jackson's Water Department for quality examinations. Wisconsin public swimming beaches must record a water sample of less than 235 CFUs of E. coli per 100 milliliters of water. All of our samples this year were well within that threshold. Again, we did an early season geese abatement completed with the DNR, and I believe that was very beneficial to keeping the water and the beach safe for users. In addition to the water samples, Wisconsin Lake and Pond Resources continue to do their treatments on the pond. Nothing new there. Moving down to attendance. In 2025, Regner Beach hosted 31,800 users. The number of users includes general swim users, general swim season pass holders, and paying aqua park users. That 31,800 attendance number increased 117% from 2024 levels, which was 14,659 users. I thought this was interesting. The busiest day this season was Saturday, June 21st, when there was 1,393 paying users at Regner Beach. That number was significantly up from 2024, which was 511 users, so almost 3 times as many. The chart below will just cover the 2025 numbers. So closed 7 days, 100, I'll just say 200 or less users, 6 days, 200 to 400 users, 11 days, 400 to 600 users, 19 days, 600 to 800 users, 17 days, 800 to 1,000 users, 8 days, and 1,000 plus users, 5 days. Interesting that in the 2 other years that I've been here, 23 and 24, we had 1 day that had more than 600 users, so
Yeah, that is
pretty
good.
crazy numbers there. And then as a reminder, the goal prior to the season to kind of have our break-even number was about 18,200 Aquapark users. That number was greatly exceeded with 25,527 paying Aquapark customers this summer. Next graph just sort of shows the average daily attendance. So you can kind of see 2019 went down and then started gaining some momentum, and then almost more than doubled on the average perspective for 2025. Preseason and in-season pass sales, so both quantities sold and revenues gained from season passes increased from 2024, which was not expected. I know that in our foreshadowing for the 25 season, we thought that both were going to decline because half of the park was now allocated to the aqua park and not general swim. That was not the case, so they both increased revenue and numbers sold. For preseason passes, there was 90 sold, 20 of which were the punch passes, and in-season passes, there was 93 sold, 16 of which were punch passes. Moving forward to 2026, the punch passes most likely will not be sold just because of how popular the aqua park was. Unfortunately, there were times that people showed up with punch passes and we were already sold out. So not a great situation there, but for the most part, people have been pretty understanding that we truly didn't know how popular and well attended that the aqua park was going to be. Moving into revenues and expenditures, for 2025, I'll just say gross profit, we brought in $295,375, significantly more than 2024. Expenses, our total expenses this year were $158,530, pretty consistent with 23 and 24. Our operating income this year was a profit of $136,845. And this year for the Washington County Safe Summer Swim Grant Program, our payment from the county will be $23,290. The Safe Summer Swim Grant reimbursement this year was at 50%, so 50% was repaid for all bonuses for supervisors and lifeguards, $3.25 for each hour that supervisors and lifeguards worked, and $1.50 for each hour worked by beach house attendants. 2026 will be the last year of the summer swim program. The amounts are there below. Projection for 2026 is about $12,000 from the Safe Summer Swim Grant Program. So, I kind of went into Carolyn's office when I kind of calculated these numbers and just chuckled because the turnaround there is crazy. Just some quick math, not factoring in the county money. The operating income or loss from 2024 to 2025 is about a $200,000 swing. So very, very impressive summer, to say the least. Moving on, tourism draw. So the Westbury Bank Aqua Park in its first year, in my mind, became a regional destination. Underneath the first paragraph, there are cities that belong to 98 unique zip codes that appeared on some of our post-season reports that showed the home addresses of our customers. The zip codes below do not show the guest accounts created on RecTrack or in-person ticket sales. So this is roughly 50% of the transactions that occurred for Aqua Park tickets. So, it's should we have had a way to capture the guest transactions and the in-person one, there's no doubt in my mind that there would be almost 200 zip codes there, just with speaking with people and where they're from. I mean, I know I talked to people from Colorado and North Dakota this summer, so that's 2 more right there. So pretty impressive, the draw that had, in my opinion. I'm definitely hoping to expand on that in 2026 as we become more well-known. Safety and incident reports, again, very fortunate to have staff who took their positions and responsibilities that come with them seriously. During the 25 season, there was a handful of lifeguard assists, which is a simple save, I'll say, which mostly involved younger kids that didn't recognize that they were going into the aqua park area with that sudden drop off. So lifeguards were constantly reminded this summer to just not watch the aqua park when they were lifeguarding that half of the pond, to just be keeping their head on a swivel so that if a little kid did go running in, they could address that situation in a timely manner. Other than that, some common incidents that occurred were bloody noses, general small cuts, and bee stings. There was one, I'll say, major incident that happened where there was an individual that had a seizure in the general swim zone. I wasn't there for it, but staff followed the EAP and everything resolved itself as well as it could have. Then the other thing, I guess, that I kind of knew would happen, but to what extent, the blind spot that the aqua park created. So mom and dad could be sitting on the beach and not see their son or daughter, and then they would ask a lifeguard to make an announcement for them, and then we would make an announcement, hey, come back to the beach, your parents are looking for you, and it's just situations like that. So, but with that, I guess it kept staff on their toes because they didn't know if it would ever turn into a missing search. So I gave them a minute to get out of the water before we cleared the water. Recommendations for 26, the biggest ones that I have are additional life jackets. When we had full houses, I'll say, during the changeover period, there was a couple of sizes that the quantities got a little tight, so nothing big there. And then, yeah, like I've mentioned before, maybe a couple of standalone items or swapping some things out here or there, but with more or less the same aqua park next year, it should be an exciting year for 2026. So.
That's great. You guys did a great job. It's nice that there was no major incidents. People talked about that at the beginning, and it was like, wasn't a factor. The putting it away and storing it, that all went fine?
Yeah, it was a little bit labor intensive, I'll say. Dan, what would you say? Probably 4 full days of?
Yeah, I think next year we're gonna have to plan at least 2 weeks. It was a lot.
Dry everything out?
Yeah, because we still have to keep other things going, so I can't put everyone on it. So, we didn't put them all away yet. They're all folded up. They're all, packaged, but we're waiting probably tomorrow or Thursday. We'll start putting them out at the storage container we bought.
And there was no serious damage to anything? I know the one you replaced.
Yep, there was one that replaced the Aquaglide warranted. For whatever reason, after we closed, I think it was the Tuesday after we closed, the stairs going up to El Jefe, the biggest one in the park, some internal strap broke, so they're going to warranty that for us also. It was kind of an odd situation, but good timing, I guess, for it to happen after we closed. So, again, Aquaglide's been great to work with, and they'll send us one sometime in the new year.
Yeah, wasn't there one of the water features too went out or something?
Yeah, there's a hole in that that's going to need to be patched. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, the pool's not going to get drained this fall, so does it still have to be treated?
The treatment stopped after the swimming season
okay.
ended.
That's only while it's being used? Yep. Okay. Anybody have any other questions? No, that's wonderful. Like I said, I like that where there was 30 days of over 600 users, and last year there was 0 over 600, so that is amazing. Everybody did a great job.
Well, and two, with this being a brand new apparatus and considering the size of it and everything, that we didn't have any even semi-serious incidences was fabulous.
Right.
That was related to that anyways.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yep.
fantastic.
Yep.
You guys did a great job.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good job. Is that it?
That's all I've got.
Okay, thanks, Ryan. Again, great job. So, new business. We have sculpture donation and installation, abundant. And Mike's going to start us out.
All right, yes. This evening, we are presenting a possible donation from the West Bend Friends of Sculpture. They are presenting the donation of Teresa Baker's Abundant to be installed along the downtown Riverwalk. The proposed location is the upper level of the kayak launch. There's a map in everyone's packet kind of identifying that area. When the Riverwalk was originally designed, developed, and constructed, we left this area in general turf as it is today. Several of the reasons for that, we didn't know where our budgets would come in, we start contracting out the work, things like that. So some of these site amenities, like for that area, originally we were looking at a small seating area, maybe some overhead shade structure, something like that. We just left it blank as it is right now, just with turf, hoping once the major construction of Riverwalk is done, then we can convert this area into something more and a possible destination. What the West Bend Friends of Sculpture are proposing are exactly that. This proposal will transform this area into a new destination along the Riverwalk. The project would include a site plan and floodplain analysis. Those would be mandatory, especially the floodplain analysis right there along the river. The West Bend Friends of Sculpture would also purchase the sculpture. They would pay for the installation of the base for the sculpture and the installation of the sculpture. So those costs would be approximately $50,000. The additional site amenities like the seat rocks, landscaping, electrical components, we do some uplighting, some seat wall lighting in there and security cameras. We would put those cost estimates at $17,500. These site amenities will not only support the sculpture itself, we look at these site amenities as supporting the Riverwalk and all of the users. So working with the West Bend Friends of Sculpture, we decided that the Riverwalk budget, we actually have existing funds in that budget right now, and we will look at covering those costs at $17,500. Again, West Bend Friends of Sculpture are a wonderful partner with our department and the city. Estimated total project cost right now is $67,700. We don't have exact costs associated with it because we're waiting for tonight's meeting. If the commission gives us the approval, then the West Bend Friends of Sculpture can move forward with their site plan and floodplain analysis. We didn't want them to allocate or use any funding without getting approval from the commission ahead of time. Otherwise, we would have a site plan and things like that for you. But again, we didn't want to ask a nonprofit to utilize funds for something that might not get approved. So this evening, we're requesting possible approval of the entire plan for that area, the sculpture, the seating, landscaping, electrical components, things like that. Total project costs are estimated right now at just over $67,000. Michelle Nass is here with the West Bend Friends of Sculpture. If you would like or have any specific questions of Michelle in reference to the sculpture itself, maybe some meaning behind it or anything like that, so.
Yeah, if I could just add, Mike, that in case you guys don't know, I'm also on the Friends of Sculpture board, and the Friends of Sculpture does a lot to play sculpture around the city, and we do this on a voluntary basis, and it's not taxpayer dollars that goes into that. It's just as a barber, sometimes I hear stuff like that. Oh, they're spending money on art, blah blah blah. I just want to make that point real clear. Sure. Yeah, go ahead, Michelle.
We get that question every time we install a sculpture.
Yeah.
We installed the two over the weekend, and the city made a great post, and within minutes, the first thing they say is, "Why haven't you fixed our roads?" So yeah. We're right on top of that. Yeah. We cover all the installation costs, the project itself, the sculpture itself. A little bit about this artist. She's an indigenous woman from the Plains. She has a sister that now lives in Superior, Wisconsin. So she had a lot of desire to keep this piece in Wisconsin and also to put it on a river. So it's called abundant, and they are referred to as worry baskets or burden baskets. And Mike had a question when he came in. He didn't realize it's actually a cast bronze piece, so it is not going anywhere. Her original pieces that she made, maybe that's where you saw this. Her original pieces that she had constructed a few years back were made out of willow and natural materials, but obviously that wouldn't work for us. She recently received the Guggenheim Fellowship, so this is a rare opportunity to get one of her pieces because her work will double in value. This piece would probably be $100,000 in a year from now. She could probably get that now. So like Mike said, we want to create like a contemplative space. This is rare that a sculpture sort of falls in our lap that, Mike and Rick and I had been out looking at this site a couple of years ago and had these ideas. But to use some of those natural seating boulders around this piece. Another component that we had talked about as a board is creating a little bit of a circular garden around the piece because it is a little bit smaller piece. It does have a base. I can't even think of how tall it is right now. But the base of it is, it's painted to reflect the color of deer hide. But even at that, sometimes, and it's been in Milwaukee, it's been on Wisconsin Avenue and without incident for 16 months, believe it or not. So I know that was a concern for a lot of people because it's a smaller piece, but it has gone untouched. But even, we've done tours of Sculpture Milwaukee sculptures, and they will put a little wire fence around some of their sculptures, and nobody touches them. It is like just that little bit of a barrier mentally will keep people off. So one of our other ideas, and that we would incur the cost for that, is to put a little garden around it. I'm talking, 24 inches around, if we would have the space, with just a little bit of a, perhaps like an ornamental circular fence around it.
And like what was done on the north end of downtown.
Not quite to that extent, but, kind of keeping it so that the piece is really the star of the piece and just having the seating around it. So much more green space for passersby or people who want to enjoy the piece rather than the guard. I mean, we love that piece down at the roundabout, but there's no way you can even get near that piece. So this is a piece, people still are going to be able to get up really close and take a look at the construction and look at the craftsmanship behind this piece. Is fantastic. So.
And your staff has no problems with it?
No, ultimately, right now, the way we have that section of the Riverwalk is, as far as maintenance goes, it's the easiest maintenance you could ever imagine. We cut the grass, go away kind of deal. And so would there be more, weekly maintenance in this area? Yeah, a little bit more. But ultimately, we don't have any issues or concerns with it. And even if, we start looking at vandalism and concerns like that, where we would place the cameras are very visible locations. And we like that with a lot of our cameras. Hey, you're on camera. Thank you for coming, there's always other concerns, but really, I mean, it's kind of I think it's a cool piece.
Would you be putting the camera on like the crowd camp building?
No, right on the light pole, right on the walk lights. We have two of them right there.
Everything else would be too low.
Yep, and then we would actually, instead of just putting one camera on the sculpture, we would actually put up a second camera down the Riverwalk, because for bringing the company in to install the camera, I was just get two of them done right away, things like that. So again, we would look at using some Riverwalk funding for this project, but the cameras are functional for the Riverwalk, seating's functional for the Riverwalk. Additional lighting along the Riverwalk, we want that. We're gonna have more lighting projects coming before the commission probably yet this calendar year for lighting the bridges down there and things like that, so.
Great. Yeah,
Well,
I have no problem.
And actually, Mike, I just want to add that there's been studies done that having sculpture within cities actually reduces crime, vandalism, and littering. Like there's been, which is amazing.
Is there room on the tours yet this weekend?
I have no idea. It was filling up fast.
Yeah.
So we do have a trolley tour this weekend. It was filling up pretty quickly.
Yeah, you could probably find information about it on our Facebook page.
Or if I would be happy to do a walking sculpture tour for the Parks Department. For everybody here, let me know. Mike is back. I mean,
Dan's getting signed up.
Dan, yeah. I would love to do, I was supposed to do one yesterday, but we ended up with rain. So if that's ever something we want to do in the springtime, I'd be happy to do it. Or lunch, Sunday afternoon, Bloody Marys, I'm up for it.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any other questions for anybody or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, Michelle.
Next, we have the skate park proposal. Ryan, you gonna take that?
Yes, sir. All right. The Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Department is seeking permission to hire Grindline Concrete Skate Park Design and Construction to design the future skate park within West Bend, located at the Regner Park near the sports court area, the location that was approved last year. City staff and the Friends of West Bend Skate Park interviewed Grindline after reviewing their submitted proposal. Grindline has been in the skate park design and construction industry for over 20 years and has an impressive portfolio of completed work that spans across the United States. In Wisconsin, Grindline has designed and or built skate parks in Portage, Wauwatosa, Milwaukee, Sun Prairie, and Sheboygan. If approved, the contract requires Grindline to design the future West Bend skate park that can be constructed in 3 phases. Along with the design of the skate park, Grindline will also host public input meetings, produce renderings of the skate park, and produce construction documents for all 3 phases with cost estimates and material quantities needed. The renderings that would be produced by Grindline will be valuable for fundraising efforts expected to kick off in early 2026, and the construction documents are necessary to go to bid on the project once the necessary funds are raised. If entered, the contract with Grindline will be $50,830. Currently, $49,250 of the proposed contract with Grindline will be funded by a donation that I'll speak about later. A little bit about Grindline. So their approach and design to construction are based on 4 fundamentals. The first is open collaboration with the client, being us and the Friends of the Skate Park, and the community with their input. Timeless designs that appeal to all ages and skill levels, integration and context, and efficient engineering, sustainable design, and budget management. Another thing that stood out to us, being the department and Friends of West Bend Skate Park, during our interview and the documents that they put together for us, is that their parks are designed with what they call a ladder of progression. So as an athlete progresses from a novice to being intermediate to advanced, the skate parks that they design are suited to fit all of those skill levels. So that's something that definitely stood out to us. Couple of side notes: Ian, the city attorney, has reviewed the contract and he's approved it. And then if we get the approval tonight, we would take this to Common Council on October 6th. If we got the approval then, we have a tentative meeting with Grindline scheduled on October 15th, where their CEO, head designer, and a couple of others would actually be in West Bend doing a site visit, doing their initial steps. And then later in the evening, we would have our first community input meeting. So that is where we are at.
That's the way we have to start it. You have to have a design, and that makes fundraising easier.
Yep, definitely.
Anybody have any questions on this?
How did we find these folks?
So the department put together an RFP, request for proposals, but we sent it out to roughly 7, 8, I want to say, firms. We were sort of unique, and what we found out is that most of the firms we sent it to were looking to do design to construct, so they kind of wanted the guarantee that if they designed it, they were going to construct it.
Okay.
So we only ended up getting 2 proposals back. Both of them were very good. Grindline came in at the 51,000 number, and then the other one was significantly higher than that. So we did have Grindline rated higher, so it's not like we were settling for quality or compromising for anything like that. But if we would have liked the other one more, then we would be in a bit of a pickle and needing to find some funds. But yeah, we were all very impressed with Grindline.
Awesome.
And the Friends of the West Bend Skate Park are always looking for new members, right?
Yep, definitely.
All right, anybody want to make a motion on this?
Motion to approve?
There's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have donations.
Yes, I have the first one from the Friends of West Bend Skate Park for a monetary donation of $49,250 to be used for the aforementioned project. So while this donation is coming from the Friends of West Bend Skate Park, the donation is fully coming from Mike Nast. We would like to recognize Mike Nast for his extremely generous $50,000 donation to the Friends of West Bend Skate Park. His generous donation allows the skate park project to continue to move forward, and we cannot thank him enough for seeing the positive impact that having a skate park in West Bend will bring to the community. So thank you to the Nast family for their generosity and vision and helping bring West Bend to skate park.
That's wonderful.
Thanks, Michelle.
I have a second one. It's from the Riverside Disc Golf Club and Josh Ham and the fellas. It's for $400 for future improvement and upkeep of the Riverside Disc Golf. Thank you to them.
And a donation from Lynch Motor Group, the Buick dealership here in town, $730.50 for Special Olympics.
Great. Any discussion? Otherwise, if there's a motion to accept the donations? So moved. There's a motion
Second.
and a second. No other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 No opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, everybody. That's great. Next, we have our resolution to authorize transfer from the YARC fund. And Carolyn's taking that?
So request to transfer $1,000 to the expense account for Special Olympics. They recently went to weekend tournaments in the Dells and did very well, as I understand. So the expenses for hotel accommodations, meals, that sort of thing for the athletes will be covered with the transfer of these funds.
And that's what the money's for. Is there a motion to approve that transfer?
I motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Next, we have reports. I'll just say, I looked at those sculptures that you guys put in on Saturday. They look wonderful. They look like they belong there. And Nature Playground, congratulations on everybody, all the hard work, and that's going to be ribbon cutting tomorrow. And that also was great. And then one other thing Courtney told us about, the Fall Luminary Walk is going to be on the 18th from 6 to 9 out at Lac La Renne.
And she's still in need of volunteers to help
I'll
direct
sell
traffic
cookies
and all
again,
that
hot
good stuff.
chocolate.
Yep. Yep. It's really challenging work. If I can do it.
That's all I have. And Courtney sent us her email, so we saw what she's up to. Rick, do you have anything?
I got a few projects I can report on. The first one, foremost on our minds lately, has been the Nature Playground. Our staff, Park and Forestry staff, has worked really hard the last few weeks getting that site ready for the ribbon cutting to open up to the public tomorrow. There have been a few more recently funded projects that I'll be continuing to pursue this fall. They're currently in design phase. First one being an entry art structure that invites you into the playground. The second one being a conversion of the existing shed to an open-air shelter to function in conjunction with the playground. And a project that we anticipate beginning construction next spring, that is a covered bridge overlook that will provide a panorama of the views to the north. Second project that I'll mention is the Camp Lodge Interior Improvements Project. I'm currently working on receiving quotes. I should have that by the end of this week, and next month should be able to report on moving forward with that project this winter. Those improvements, again, will be mostly interior finish improvements, flooring, paneling, ceiling, electrical improvements. The third item I have is a project that'll be my focus in the month to come, the 2026 tree surety. We currently have 100 free tree requests that will be put out to bid, along with tree surety, the fund that funds trees and new housing developments, and also street trees for street reconstruction projects of the past year. I anticipate a total of 150 to 200 trees will be part of that contract for 2026. And finally, the Regner Labyrinth Garden accessible parking, that's 2 parking stalls at the entrance to the Labyrinth Garden, which was awarded to BMCI. We anticipate that beginning in early October. We're expecting a more detailed schedule here very soon. But it is contracted to be complete by November 1st, so we expect a contractor to be on site shortly. That's all I have.
Great, you're going to be busy. Thanks. Anybody, any questions for Rick? Otherwise, Ryan, you got anything else?
Couple more things to touch on. Fall recreation programs and swimming lessons are both underway. For the rec programs, registration was really strong in the 4 to 5-year-old for soccer and baseball. For the 6 to 8-year-olds, it is about half of the 4 to 5-year-olds, so kind of staying the course of the summer. So back to the drawing board for that for next year. Swimming lesson registration was down, also kind of following with the summer. We planned on having 4 hours of lessons. We condensed down to 3, so we avoided a lot of the cancellations, and Carolyn and Tanya helped move people around. So great effort there to at least get people into the lessons, even though it might not have been their preferred time slot. For our dance program, which begins on October 6th, when I did the math earlier, there are 250 registrations, so it's looking forward to another strong year of our dance program and a lot of kids that are going to have fun in that. The competition dance team that I proposed to you in August, maybe July, was able to meet their quota, so we kind of set the minimum for the break even, so Monica's really happy with that. They began their practicing and looking forward to a good year for that. With the flooding that happened, I had to purchase $4,500 worth of new equipment with things that got flooded, so mats, speakers, just miscellaneous stuff that was on the floor of the LRC, so got all of that ordered. I've been working with Rick and the contractor to pick out the flooring for the basement, so we have 2 out of the 3 rooms done. Figuring out the dance floor for the first room has been a little bit more challenging, but I'm hoping that sometime this week we'll get some quotes back to see where we're at with that.
Is there a timeline on that, do you know?
We are hoping by October 6th that we're able to get them going in there in the LRC. The library obviously has some things that they need to get figured out also, so, and then contractor schedules, and it becomes kind of messy really quickly. We did look ahead and figured that we should block off the beach house. So the beach house is blocked off for the first 2 full weeks of that, so that buys us time. Beyond that, then, yeah. But, you know, I think that by October, what would that be, 20th, they should be done, still another month. And then last thing, I'm submitting an award nomination to the Wisconsin Parks and Rec Association for the Aqua Park. Obviously touched on a lot of the things that I talked about earlier, but also kind of digs back into the history of it and how well attended it was and kind of where we got to how we are without avoiding certain topics. And then the turnaround that we experienced in this year. And the last thing, fun fact, when I was looking through some of the records, 1973 Regner Beach had an attendance of 70,536. So I thought that this year was busy, but apparently it was rocking in 73. So
Jesus.
that's all I've got.
Thanks. Good stuff. Any questions for
New
Ryan?
goal, I guess.
Dan, what do you got for us?
I got some stuff. So, like we touched on, Aqua Park fully removed. It was pretty labor intensive. So going forward, I think next year will be at least a week and a half, 2 weeks, to clean everything up, get it dried off, put away. Went well. So it's just a learning process this first year. So it should be smoother going forward, hopefully. I would just like to personally thank my staff and everybody associated with parks for the nature playground and what we've done out there. Our guys have been very dedicated to that project, and we've been working very hard this week and prior with Rick, with Courtney, Mike, myself. So it just, they're not here to hear this, but I tell them on a daily basis. That's
great.
There's a lot, when you can come out there and get a chance to see it, I hope you're utterly impressed, to be honest with you. So, now we're gonna go back into norm. So now we're gonna start stumping hopefully next week. We did receive the batting tunnels for Riverside baseball field, so we are hoping middle of October to start breaking ground on that and putting that up before winter. Shutdowns are planned for the week of October 20th. We're gonna start shutting all the facility down, bathrooms, et cetera. Enchantment starting up at October 10th. We're having some turf repairs and maintenance done over at Carl Cuss. We got some tears in the turf, et cetera. Got a contractor set up for that. That's gonna be starting next week. And yesterday with the downpour, we stood on the north end of the shop and we're bone dry.
Oh, great.
Didn't have to move any buckets or anything, so roof got finished about a week and a half ago. So, yeah, so things are sitting pretty good.
All right, good job, everybody. Any other questions or anything for Dan? Otherwise, Mike, you got a report?
As you can see, our department's pretty busy, projects, programs, everything that's going on. It's sometimes an overwhelming list until you kind of look back. And the other day, I just looked back, you know, where we were on August 10th with the flooding and what we've done since then, and it's been remarkable. A couple of other items just to mention, the 2026 budget process has been ongoing, but it will be before Common Council again on the 6th of October. That'll most likely be capital budget discussions, maybe operating labor, but ultimately the target date is November 10th for final approval of the city's budget for next year. We need enough time to get things implemented and all that stuff with finance and et cetera. So October, early November could be busy with that. But even though it is fall, it doesn't mean there's nothing going on in our community. As Michelle already mentioned, we have our sculpture trolley tour this weekend. We also have the Alzheimer's Run Walk in Regner Park. We have the Farmers Market going through the end of October. Frank Lloyd Wright exhibit starts October 4th at MOA. October 10th, we have Fall Fest downtown. Mike already mentioned a luminary walk on the 18th of October. So if you live in West Bend and you don't have anything to do, just look at our website or look at Facebook, visit West Bend, anything like that, because there's plenty of opportunities to get out and go do something. And be honest with you, it won't cost you a lot of money to go out and have a lot of fun in town, so thank you.
That's for sure. All right. Anything else for good of the order?
Well, I would like to just reiterate a little bit of what Mike started saying in the beginning of his comments there. Listening to you guys in your reports, you have your frickin' hands full. It is amazing what this department does. I'm just really proud as a community member of you guys. You're really doing great.
And they're actually
Great work. I
short-staffed,
appreciate it. Yeah. Very good.
Yes, I echo that. Okay, if that's it, I adjourn.